I created an e-learning project where we witness an art heist happening, then you play as a detective to figure out what went wrong or who did it by interrogating suspects using a chatbot simulation powered by Devlin AI. When this project was first demoed, the question that kept coming up the most was, how did you create the animations? Well, the good news is my process is actually quite simple, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how I generated these videos, and as a bonus I'm going to show you how I then took those videos and created still images of the same character in different situations. Hello, I'm Sabrina, one of the instructional designers on Devlin's team. I've been using AI to generate visual assets for the past few years, from client projects to helping students in Peck Academy. And over the years, AI visuals have gotten a lot better, but they can still be kind of time consuming to generate. The workflow I'm going to show you today is actually pretty simple and probably wouldn't take as much time as you're expecting. In this video, I'm going to show you how I generate videos, how I can use those videos to create seamless animation loops like you saw in the beginning with the senior detective and the interrogation scene. And then I'm also going to show you how I use those videos to create still images of characters in different situations. In this video, I'm going to be using Freepik, which has been rebranded as Magnific. So I'm going to be using Freepik's AI tools. The good thing is Freepik uses a lot of the popular models, like different AI models. So if you have subscriptions to other tools, you may be able to recreate the same process. So let's get into it. The process I'm going to show you, like I said, we're going to create an animation loop. So the video that we generate is going to be made so that we can loop it. But the tips I'm giving can be made for any video that you want to generate. And I actually use the same process on a project that I just created. So I'll show you the intro of that so you can see the video. But yeah, it's the same process. All right, so that is one of the projects that I've made. And again, the steps that I'm going to show you are all going to be similar to how we did that project. Okay, so I'm over here in Magnific. I think still if you Google like Freepik, it's going to redirect you here, but they have rebranded. So this is where we're at. Once you land on the page, you're going to see a bunch of different tools. It brought me to the app menu first. I think if you go to just Magnific, it might give you different options, but we're here in the app tool. You'll see we have some different options, and then on the left-hand side, we have some different options here as well. So when I go to the left-hand side, you'll see this waffle menu here. This is going to give you access to all of their different AI tools, and you can sort up here by the type of tool. You can also, if there are tools you use very frequently, you can pin them, and there are some here on the side. Since we are going to generate a video, I want to go to the video generator. So again, I'm over here on the left menu. I select the all tools or waffle menu, go to video, and I'm going to go to video generator. Now I'm currently in a folder from that last project that I just showed you. So I'm actually going to switch. Actually, we can even just do a new project. Or maybe not. It won't let me. All right, I'm just going to go to personal project, which actually looked like I had some different stuff in here. Cool. All right, so personal project here, and we can choose the AI models once we get into the piece. So I'm next to this left-handed menu. Actually, I'll go ahead and close this one so we just see this main menu here. All right, so we have the video generator. For the model, you can choose the model that you want to use. You can even choose multiple models. Always when I generate my first video, I do let it be on auto. That allows the AI to just decide what is going to be the best model for the type of video that I want to generate. References, if you have generated an image already that you want to use and create a video from that, you can use those as references. So either at the start or the end, which is what we see here. So you can have a start or an end. And then where it says add media, this is where it's really nice. If you already have one video that you generated and you want to make them consistent, you can add those references here. So I just selected it, and it's loading up what I had. So if I wanted another video that looked similar to this one, I could select it and then reference it down here using the @ symbol. So there are some really nice things that you can do that have really helped make it easy to keep it consistent. Now the shot feature I haven't used, But what I believe it does from just clicking around with it is you can say, like, in shot 1, we want a scene of outside the store. And then shot 2, we want the scene to be inside the store. Shot 3, we're going to pan over to a shelf on the right or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is from what I've looked into it, but feel free to play around with it if you dive into that tool. All right, the next part here is where we add our prompt. What's nice about Magnific or Freepik is they have this prompt editor, so you can put a prompt and then you can use the editor to make it better, or kind of just, even if you don't have a prompt yet, you can describe what you want and have the editor here. And then you can apply the prompt as well. All right, the next pieces that we see down here are the duration. So how long do you want the video to be, the aspect ratio for the video, and if you want sound or not. If you are creating a video that's going to loop, I recommend not having the sound because of how we're going to loop it. So I'm just going to turn that off for now. And then it's up to you how long you want it to be. I usually go 8 to 10 seconds long. That's been pretty good for what I needed. I'm going to keep it to 5 to 6 seconds. Sorry, I don't know if I said minutes. 8 to 10 seconds is usually what I do. 5 to 6 is what I'm going to use here because I want it to be able to generate quickly. And then we press generate. So one more thing that I did want to mention up here with the model, the first video I do, like I said, I always do auto, but once you have generated a video that you really like, see what model it used, and then each time you generate a new video or image, use that same model. So that's how I approach it, and it helps make things much more consistent. So the first time, leave it on auto. The next times, if you like that style, then make sure you choose that model. All right, so let's go ahead, and we could use our prompt editor, but I already have a prompt for us to use. So it says, here, I'm going to go ahead and I'll zoom in. Let's do one more so we can kind of see what's going on here. All right, the style is a comic book illustration, so we're going to go for an illustrated style. The character is a female front desk attendant at a hotel. She's wearing business casual outfit and standing behind the desk with a computer just off to her side. I could specify which side, but let's see what AI does. She's looking directly at the camera. That's important. Sometimes you'll notice it'll always have it looking off or to a character, but being really specific about what you want your character doing is important. So she's looking directly at the camera in the shot. We want to see the attendant, the desk, and the computer at an empty hotel lobby. The attendant is nodding and gesturing, and let's make it nighttime. So this, again, how you prompt is up to you. And like I said, the editor here, we can tell it, make it more detailed, add lighting effects, make it more cinematic. We can tell it to do all those things and then send that. It will come over here and adjust our prompt. And then if we like it, we can apply the prompt. I just want to see what this does first. So I'm going to let it do its thing and generate that. This one, again, like I said, is going to be a video that we loop. So I do have it nodding and gesturing because I do want it to be something where it's not just the character standing still and there's this empty lobby, because it's just going to look like a still image. So I want some movement, but nothing too distracting, with something that I can loop. So I'm going to go ahead and generate that. And you can see it said how many credits it was going to use, 741. You can keep track of your credits over here if you are using Magnific. All right. So while that is generating, sorry, lost my train of thought. I'll tell you kind of a little bit more about my process. So the reason that it is so quick and pretty simple is I don't run my prompt a lot of times, maybe 2 or 3 at the most for the first video, but really I just run it and see what it comes up with. If I don't like it, I'll run it one more time, maybe make some adjustments to my prompt. But again, 2 or 3 times for one video, and then I choose the best one and I move on. The reason I do that is because I also noticed with still images, something that I tend to do, and I think other people are probably guilty of this as well, but something I tend to do is I spend so much time looking for that perfect image of exactly what I'm envisioning. And then when I need to find my next image, it's taking so much longer because I'm trying to make it match exactly to what I had. So instead, what we're doing is we're kind of just curating a few different things, still trying to keep them very consistent if we can. But what we'll notice is things start to be more consistent as we go because we have reference images to create new images or videos. And then the one that doesn't match or stands out, then I can go back and spend some time to get that one closer to what I want. But I'll also have a bunch of reference videos and images already that I can use to make this new one or remake one that doesn't really quite fit. So that's kind of the process. Is I write my prompt, maybe use that prompt editor to help me make it a little bit better, run it 2 to 3 times, find the best one that I like, and then I move on and do my next video. So I don't really drag out the process. I try to keep it short. Then once I have all of my assets gathered, I look at them to make sure they're consistent. Anything that sticks out as not too consistent, then I'll regenerate that one using something that is already consistent as a reference. So like I showed you where you can add media, I'll do that next. All right, so let's go back over to Magnific and we can take a look to see where our video is at right now. So our video is still generating. So it's going to take about 3 minutes and it's still loading. It's almost there. So not 3 minutes from now. It's been taking about 3 minutes. If we go to our prompt editor, we can, like I said, we can add some different things. You can even ask for a random prompt if you wanted to. But I think something that will be helpful for us to do here, we'll see what it gives us. But I think sometimes the style isn't what always comes through. That is why I put it at the beginning so that it catches it first. But yeah, we'll see what it comes up with. All right, we have our video. And I actually think this looks pretty solid. So let's take a look at what we have. All right, so once our video is generated, we see it here. And we have our prompt, which is nice because you'll delete your prompt as you make a new video. But over here, you can copy the prompt or reuse it. If you reuse it, it puts it back over here into this side, on the left side where we entered our prompt. But here's the important stuff. So we see the model that's being used, Seed Dance. I do like this style. So if I were to generate another video in this project that I'm creating, I would make sure that I wanted to go over and choose the same model of Seed Dance. It is a 5-second video. The aspect ratio is what we asked it to be. And then the other 2 things I think are just that there's like no sound or whatever that may be. All right, let's take a look at this video. Okay, she is nodding, gesturing. That's what we asked for. We have our desk, we have our computer. She is centered, and we have like an empty hotel lobby behind her. So I think this is pretty good. I feel pretty good about it. We could have told the AI to be more specific, put her on like the left or the right. If we were using this for a chatbot simulation, we may want to have her on one side or the other so that we have room for those assets. So that is something to think about as you generate these things. All right, I did say that I run my prompt 2 or 3 times. This one is actually really good and I like this video, but let's use the prompt editor just so I can kind of show you how that works so you can see if it's something that you're interested in using as well. I did mention maybe we want the character to be to one side or the other, so maybe I say I want the female character to be on the right side of the screen near the computer. Okay, so that's what I'm going to tell it that I want to adjust in this prompt. I'll send it. It's going to rewrite my prompt, and you're going to see that it's going to add a lot more detail. It may not just add what I want, but it might add a few more things. So you can see it really does a lot more details in here, even though I only asked for one thing. But it's keeping a lot of the stuff the same. So style, we're going to keep that. Comic book illustration, it's adding the aspect ratio, which isn't necessary, but that's okay. We'll leave it. The scene, it's giving more details. Nighttime hotel lobby, which we do say. Modern design, polished marble floors. Not necessarily things we asked for, but it did show up in that video before. All right, we have our front desk attendant, business casual. And here we see positioned on the right side of the frame, close to a computer monitor that sits just by her side. And then it does still say looking directly at the camera, which is what we want. Here it is lining up some of those shots for us already, which I think is what that shot feature does. So it has the setup and then tells us what's happening. She nods slightly at an unseen guest in front of her. She continues nodding, adds a small polite hand gesture as if giving directions or confirming a reservation. Okay, those are things that I'm good with, we want. Sound design. Well, we're not doing any sound, but you can see that it adds that in for you. So it's really nice if you are just generating this video here because it's going to create some of that like ambiance and things like that, which is great. You don't have to go out and source those or generate more sound effects. You can see what it gives you here. But we don't need this. So I'm going to go ahead and actually delete that. Character subject. Oh, wait, it skipped us up. Oh no, what did I just delete? Okay, so it didn't delete this. I guess I'll have to delete it when I move it over. All right, style boosters, keep the character consistent. Okay, yeah, good enough. All right, I'm going to go ahead and apply the prompt, and you see it gets applied over here on the left where our prompt was. I'm going to go find that sound design piece. We don't need it. We're not going to have sound. I could leave it in. It's not going to affect anything. That would be fine. I don't know why it doesn't want to let me get rid of it. Prompt has reached the maximum length. Okay, then let me delete this. Interesting. I don't know why it's not letting me delete it. Usually you can edit your prompt in here, but I'm not sure what is happening. All right, I'm going to pause, figure out what's going on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what is going on, but yeah, it's not letting, okay, now it is letting me delete. Apparently the prompt was too long, and so it wasn't even allowing me to delete things. So I'll show you what I did in case you run into this situation. So I did have the full long prompt here. I copied it, and then I refreshed my screen to see if that would help and pasted it back in. It didn't help. So what I did is I went to the editor here and just asked it to remove some of those things that I didn't need until I got my prompt down to the right length. And you do have your character length here. I just don't understand why it wasn't letting me edit things. I have been able to edit them in the past, so maybe it's just some kind of weird fluke. But if you run into that situation, that's what I did, was I just asked it to remove those certain sections of the text until it was good to go. All right, I'm going to turn the sound off again. I did, like I said, I liked this version, so I will change it to Seed Dance. And yeah, we'll do 5 seconds, 720 as our resolution. All right, let's see how that works. Okay, our new video is ready, so let's take a look. All right, so we have our person on the side. I don't love how zoomed in it came to her and it's kind of cutting off. I also don't know if I love this background as much because it's kind of looking more photorealistic, where she is more comic book and some of this is comic book. You can see that thick line, but over here it's feeling more photorealistic. So I don't think I love this one. Now the urge might be to go ahead and generate it again, but I think this one here is good. I like this style. I like what it did. We have some nodding, we have some gesturing. We're going to go with this one. All right, so we're going to download it. So I clicked on it. We can download from here, but you can also just hover over and download. All right, we have our image. So now that we have our video and we've downloaded it from Magnific, we're going to go ahead and take that video, and I'm going to show you how I turned it into an animation loop like I did with some of these other pieces. So let me go back here. Actually, I'll show you the detective one. I think that's a good one. So this one is kind of subtle. You'll kind of see we're zooming out. She's moving, she's talking, she's gesturing with her hands. She's, yeah, just gesturing. And then we start to move back in. You'll see what's happening is I'm actually playing the video forward and backwards to create the loop. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that. I'm going to be using Adobe Premiere Pro to create these animation loops, but if you know or are familiar with other video editing software, I'm sure you can create the same process. So let's head over to Premiere Pro. All right, here is Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm going to bring in the video that we just downloaded. So there it is. And I'm just going to bring it on to my timeline. This is also why we didn't want sound, because what happens is I play it forward and backwards. So if we play the sound backwards, that might sound a little bit strange. All right, I brought it over to my timeline, and now I'm on a PC also. So if your clicking is different, then know which clicking you're doing. I'm going to right click on the video down here, and I'm going to go to speed duration. Then I'm going to reverse the speed. Before I do that, I do need to duplicate this. So this one here that we have, this 5-second clip, is going to be playing forward, and then you can copy it and paste it. I'm just going to go ahead and do Control D to, oh, never mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to copy and paste. So maybe it didn't like that. Okay, move off the timeline. And now let's paste. Okay, I was still selecting this, so I didn't want to paste it over here. Okay, so this one is going forwards. Now this second version is where I'm going to go ahead and do that backwards play. So I'm going to click on it and right click, go to speed duration, reverse speed, and press OK. So now this one plays forward, this one plays backwards. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. So it's playing forward, she's nodding, she's gesturing. Then it's going to go ahead and go backwards. She gestures, she nods. All right, so the reason we're going to do that is because it is now starting and stopping at the same point. So when I move it into something like storyline, I can use a trigger that says like when video ends, play video. And then I'll also need a trigger that says like when the timeline starts on this slide, play video, so that it knows start it right away. And then when it ends, play it again. But we're starting on the same frame and ending on the same frame. So it's going to create that loop that's like really seamless. And because we redoubled it in the middle right here, it's ending and starting on the same frame and then ending and starting on the same frame. So that's what keeps it really like seamless to make this nice loop. And then all we do is export it. So maybe I'll call this like front desk loop. And then you can decide what size you want it to be. We exported, I believe, at 720. So I would keep it there. Format, I'll keep the same. One thing that I was told by AI was to keep it at square pixels, because one thing that can happen too with your videos that you AI generate is it will tell you that they are 16:9 ratio, and then you take them in a storyline and realize that it's not the size. Or you download it and you look at the details and realize that it's like 432 by something else. It is not a nice 16:9 ratio. So bringing it into an editing tool will also make sure that it is getting exported at the size you need. So like this one here in Adobe Premiere Pro, we see is 1280 by 720. So it does make sure that it is the right size that we need. And then we export it. So it's going to get saved into my file. So that is how you make a loop animation. Oh, I'll also mention when I first thought about creating that like loop video behind my like speech bubbles and things like that, I thought like, oh, I'll just use a GIF, right? Because those automatically just loop on their own. Then I don't have to worry about triggers in storyline to make sure that that loops. And so I did that. In Adobe Premiere Pro, you have the option to export things as a GIF. So if we go here, you can do an animated GIF. And I thought that was going to be the best. Like I said, it already like loops it for you. So I'm like, oh, perfect. That's what I wanted to do. Don't do that. GIFs are very large files, which I thought like, oh, it brings it in like an image. So it's probably small, but it doesn't do that. What it does is it makes every single frame its own image. So it becomes this huge package and runs very, very slow and will take forever to load on your slide, which definitely breaks the immersion that you're going for by creating these videos. So don't do a GIF. Learn from my mistake. Instead, export it as a video and then take it into storyline. Like I said, you're going to want two triggers. The first one, if you're doing this in storyline to create a loop, is you'll bring your video into storyline. The first trigger is play video when the timeline starts on this slide. That makes sure that it does play once this starts, because the second trigger can override that sometimes. So the second trigger is going to be play video when video ends. So once it ends, it's going to play it again, but we need to tell it when to start, which is why we have that first trigger. Okay, so we've generated a video, we turned it into an animation loop, we talked about how to bring it into storyline. Now let's talk about how do we take those videos and turn them into a still image with our character staying consistent, but in a different situation. Okay, so I'm gonna go back over to Magnific, and we're actually going to go to the image generator. So on the left-hand side in this toolbar, we can see it here is one that's already pinned. If yours isn't pinned, we go to the waffle menu and then go to image generator. All right, in our image generator, we're going to want to go through some of the same pieces where we change it to auto, but let's go through and make sure we see all of the different like options that it has here. Okay, so model, it's already on Google Nano Banana too, because I think that's what I used last, but we do want it to be auto for this one. Again, if you already know a model that you like, then you can use that. But I'm going to go with auto, see what it does. Google Nano Banana is actually really good with illustrated images, so that wouldn't be a bad idea to keep it there, but let's see what AI does. Now for the references, style. If you are just starting with an image first and you don't have a video, this could be helpful because you can choose like a style that you like. So something a little bit more like 3D, something more like cartoonish here, anime style. Yeah, lots of different options. So you can choose a style if you want to, but we're actually going to rely on our video as the reference. character. This is really cool. One thing that I really like about Magnific or Freepik is you can create a character. So you'll see I have one of the characters from my Brushstrokes and Lies project here, because I was just playing around with it. But then I did create from my Handle with Care, my newest project, Jordan. I did create a character for him, and that kind of helped to put him in some different scenes as well. So you can also make your own characters. And what's nice too is Freepik does walk you through how to do a lot of these things. There are some videos and stuff like that too. So if you want to look at that, you can take a look. And then you can add a reference. So this is what we're going to use. So we chose this image or this video here, right? The one with her right in the center. So I'm going to select that. And I can decide if I want the start screen or the end screen, which in this case, they're the same. But I can choose which frame of that video, either the beginning or the end, that I want to use as my reference. So I'll just stick with start, and I'm going to add that as my reference. You can add more. You can add up to 8 references. Now for our prompt, we want her to be in a different situation. And I'll tell you my process for this is the exact same. So I'm going to have her here as my reference, right? I have that video. I'm going to write my prompt. I'm going to run it. I might use the prompt editor to help me fix things if there's stuff that's not coming out exactly as I expect. Run it again, at most 3 times. Again, pick the best one, and I'm going to move on. What I'm looking for mostly, though, is that my character stays consistent. So I want to make sure that I do say that in my prompt. Okay, so let's see. Where would our hotel attendant be? Maybe she's in the hallway, right? Because she's bringing something up to a guest or something like that. I don't know. She might be in the hallway. All right, so we're going to say image 1 is how we refer to the character. So you can see it shows us here, and you can select any other things that you've used before. So let's say, actually, we'll say the female character in image 1 should stay exactly the same. We'll see if it likes that wording. And then we'll say show the character in image 1 in the hallway of a hotel as if showing a guest to their room. No one else is in the image. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if it likes that. I'm only going to generate 1. Like I said, I do it once, see what happens, make some adjustments, and then run it a second or third time. The aspect ratio, we want it to be the same as our slides and storyline, same as our video, so 16:9. I did use 9:6 when I was doing just characters, so I was generating a character so that I can pull the whole character out and put them in different scenes. So that's something you can do too. But let's go ahead and generate, and let's see what it gives us. Okay, we have our image. So here is our character, and here is our hallway where she's showing us where the room is. And if we go back and look at this video, so if we look at her here, that is extremely consistent. Maybe we don't like this hallway background, so we can use our prompt editor and say, I want the hallway background to be more illustrated, because it does look a little realistic. And not so photorealistic. Make it like a comic book illustration. Now, this may throw things off because I'm telling it to make it a little bit more specific. But anyway, I closed it. So I closed it instead of sending it. Or no, I pressed apply prompt. So I just applied the same prompt that I had instead of doing it here. So I could run it again and show what it's doing. I'm going to type that in, but you don't have to watch me do it again. Okay, I asked it to make it more illustrated. So it says like in a highly detailed like illustration, stylized illustration. Let's run it and see what it gives us. Again, I'm going to do my like 2 or 3 rule, run it just a couple times, see what happens, pick the best one. Although this first one we got is honestly pretty good. All right, here's our new image. And honestly, I kind of like it. It does look more illustrated. Her character style looks pretty good. She does still look pretty consistent with what we have here. Her badge stayed the same, outfit. So that one looks pretty good. The other cool thing is you can take these still images and then turn them into a video. So you can make this whole process, right? So you can generate a video, find the one that you like, bring it over to the image generator, generate an image with that consistent character, take that image and then turn it into a video, and just like keep doing this like full loop. You can even pull those videos and just create just the character. Like I said, you can prompt and say, show this female character pointing to the left with a solid white background. Then that makes it really easy to remove the background and you just have your character. That is how I generate a lot of my like consistent characters in these projects that you see, where like, for example, oh, actually I don't have it pulled up. But for one of them, I have, oh, I showed it in the beginning where I have like the interrogation, and then that other character, where I have in my handle with care, the character like crosses his arms or looks to the side, size. I used Magnific and did the like white backgrounds to make that happen, and then used a few of those images to create a character so that I could reuse that in other videos later on and just reference him as a character. So it's really cool. There's lots of different features that you can use, and you can come up with your workflow that works best for you. If that is just a still image and then turning it into a video and then going back and getting a still image, all of that's up to you. But the workflow here is really nice in Magnific. But like I said, it uses a lot of the same tools other platforms use, so you can probably recreate this in the other tools that you have access to. Okay, to recap the process, first we generate a video, and then we let AI do a lot of the heavy lifting by choosing the model. We'll write a prompt, something kind of rough, and then our job after is to refine. So either using that prompt editor to make things a little bit better, run it again. Don't get stuck trying to generate the perfect video the first or even second time. Just run it a couple times, pick the best one, move on. Then if we are trying to create an animated loop, we take that video, we download it, we take it to a video editor. We have a copy of the file playing forward. We duplicate the file, change the speed to reverse how the video is playing, and download that, bring it into a tool like Storyline, and then use triggers to create this seamless loop so that it plays in the background of our scene. Then our last step is we can take those videos and bring them back into Magnific and use that video as a reference to create a still image with a consistent character in a different situation. All of those were pretty quick. You saw me doing everything pretty much in real time. The only time I paused the video was if the generation was taking a little bit longer. That's more of a like network issue and not like a system issue. So it was pretty quick to create some different assets that we could use in a Storyline project and build some immersive worlds. So I challenge you to try it out for yourself. And if you do, let me know how it goes down in the comments below. What worked well for you? What were some challenges that you ran into? And let's help each other get even better with generating these AI visual assets. As another challenge, if you do generate some videos or images, then take that a step further, and I challenge you to create like a chatbot simulation using Devlin AI. And if you want to learn more about how to do that, check out Devlin's replay from his last live event. We'll link it in the description below so that you can find that one exactly. And yeah, build something and share it with us and let us see all the cool stuff you're working on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye.